Oliver, is there ever going to be a solution to the traffic management problems here in London Road?
Well, I mean, I think that's a very interesting question, and I think we're a lot closer to understanding what that answer needs to be now than we were at this point a year ago. So over the last year or so there's been a traffic study taking place, South Stifford traffic study, and that really is attempting to look at a lot of the traffic issues that are taking place in the area. And I think, you know, to some extent it's a lot of things that we knew already as local people, but really for the first time they're there in the stats in black and white. So what we're finding is actually there's an awful lot of traffic using London Road. So more than 1,500 vehicles a day, HGVs at peak times during the week, and that's more than one a minute. So that's a tremendous amount of traffic to be using the road. At the same time, you've got roads that run off London Road, like Devonshire Road, that could be much more efficient ways of getting lorries to the place that they're trying to get to. Equally, you've got ideas like the West Thurrock Relief Road that could be built and actually move vehicles around much more efficiently. Now, we've got quite a good record of this in the Labour Party. In 2004, we finished the first phase of the West Thurrock Relief Road, which means now that Purfleet actually doesn't have that huge volume of lorry traffic moving through it. But what we're trying to say at the moment, and as I said in a motion that I brought to Council in November, actually what we want is a promise of more action on London Road in the South Stifford area. So at the moment there are several options being worked up, but actually what we think we need is a decision that says actually all of that should be done with a view to absolutely committing to moving London Road's lorries to using a different route. And I think that has to be the key. We have to make a firm commitment to say we want to move those lorries to using other routes. And I think there are lots of options available there, but it needs to take the decision to actually say we're going to move them through those other routes.
Do you have cross-party support here?
Well, I think there's cross-party recognition that there's a problem. I wouldn't say there's necessarily cross-party recognition on a particular course of action, but I think, you know, everyone by and large accepts that there's a huge issue with the number of HGVs on London Road. And what we're trying to say, and what we're trying to convince the Conservative Party of, is that the best options are potentially to build a second phase of the West Thurrock Relief Road, or to drop the weight limits on Devonshire Road and actually start to bring some relief to the area, move lorries into different routes. And I think hopefully, you know, we're fairly convinced that we've got a strong argument, and we just need to now convince others of that fact.
Of course, we had the whole road cordoned off a couple of days ago with a chimney pot crashing into the road. Some could say the argument is that vibrations could have caused that from your traffic management problem.
Absolutely, and we know this is an incredibly busy road. We know that because it's busy, it gives rise to a huge number of other problems. So actually one of the things that the traffic study found was that personal injury accidents were 220% higher than the national average just along this stretch of road because of the weight of lorry traffic. Now that gives also rise to a huge number of other problems. The fact of the noise, the vibrations, potentially you know, the very bad air quality in the area. So there are a huge number of issues that this is giving rise to.